afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. How y'all doing? It's Kaiser, and welcome to your Tuesday of this week, because now it's time for yet another episode of The Acolyte. Episode 6 is premiering tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm probably going to watch this as much as I absolutely, for the love of God, please don't make me. I don't want to. No, please, for the love of God. I don't want to do it.
Fuck.
Oh, anyway. But so with regard to that, we have to talk about some recent developments with the Acolyte. So specifically, there's been some interesting developments with regards to how the show is being received, because we have seen so many places talking about how the review bombing of this show is just horrendous, and that, there's just so much stuff happening that is just really hurting the show. It's all the fans' fault. And it's like, well, not really whenever you actually see what we have to report here. So, yeah. Look, we can kind of point to this moment right here in episode 3 where they introduced the lesbian space witches. Pretty sure that was a bad idea, Disney. I'm just going to come out and say it. Well, yeah, not to put too fine a point on it, but yeah, Disney lost 60%. Yes, Disney, Lucasfilm, Star Wars, The Acolyte lost 60% of its viewership for a second week in a row. It is absolutely a bloodbath. Yeah. So to go ahead and give you a little bit more information here with this one. So yeah, let's just read right on into it, and then we can kind of parse it out for ourselves. Viewership for The Acolyte has declined for the second week in a row, according to data shared by analytics firm Luminate. As reported by Variety, viewership for The Acolyte declined to 232.2 million minutes watched for the week the show's 5th episode debuted. That's a decline of 11% from the previous week, which had a total of 262 million minutes watched. Of note, the runtime for both the 4th and 5th episodes are nearly identical. The 4th episode had a runtime of 34 minutes 2 seconds, and the 5th episode had a runtime of 34 minutes and 5 seconds. So the show hit its peak viewership with the release of the 3rd episode, which introduced lesbian space witches, as well as the replacement for the Force called The Thread. Viewership for the 3rd week of the episode debuted topped 380.5 million. The least viewed week was the show's premiere week. The 2-episode premiere only brought in 210 million minutes. And that was actually a kind of an interesting point that a lot of people made, was that because whenever the show really started getting out there, and right up until the day that the first 2 episodes released, there was an embargo, even like up to 9 hours before the show released onto streaming. And a lot of what we saw in the lead up to that was a lot of guys like Alan Ng and Chris Gore, others that had actually got the ability to go ahead and watch the series up to the first 4 episodes before they actually released, and have like write-ups done for them so they could actually do critic stuff. Well, again, they were under embargo, and all they kept saying was that wait till the 3rd episode, it's going to get really bad. And with all of that talk of how bad episode 3 was going to be, we kind of expected that there would be a major bump in viewership for episode 3, which turned out to be right. And immediately following episode 3, it fell off a damn cliff. Of note, the viewership fluctuation also reflects the total number of views for the individual episodes on IMDb. The first episode received over 20,000 reviews, while the second received over 18,000. The third review received over 20,000. However, the 4th episode only received 11,000 reviews. The 5th episode only has 8,400. Ouch. That's definitely, people are walking away and they just don't care anymore. The show's viewership is also significantly lower than Ahsoka, which aired during the summer of 2023. The show's 2-episode premiere brought in 829 minutes, as reported by Nielsen, compared to Acolyte's 210 million, as reported by Luminate. While Ahsoka declined the week of its third episode to 487 million minutes and The Acolyte increased to 380.5 million, Ahsoka still had over 100 million more minutes compared to The Acolyte. Whew. Ahsoka's fourth episode hauled in 459 minutes compared to 262 million minutes of The Acolyte. The fifth episode of Ahsoka ranked in 577 million minutes compared to 332 million for The Acolyte. That is a 59.7% decline. Yikes, guys.
Please disperse. Nothing to see here, please.
Whew. I mean, that is a hefty drop in your viewers. And I mean, Disney, I mean, you got to be sitting there asking yourselves, you got to be talking to yourselves going, what the heck is going on? Because, I mean, your internal people have got to be noticing there is a problem at this point. In fact, I might have some information on that.
Yes, it's all true. I just don't know what's wrong with me. So what's for dinner?
Yeah. All right. It's unlikely the viewership will increase until the final episode's debut, when some people might binge watch the entire season in one sitting to drive up minutes watched. The reason why is that many viewers have made it abundantly clear they don't like the show. On Rotten Tomatoes, the series currently carries a 14% audience score, with the average rating clocking in at 1.2 out of 5 stars. That is still really, really bad. And yeah, just going over here, this is the actual data from Variety on Luminous. I mean, Acolyte is down in the very bottom, like 9th place of the streaming originals. It's not even top streaming, it's just streaming originals. And it is absolutely getting shellacked by the likes of other shows like, Bridgerton and American Sweethearts, Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders. It's like, yeah, nobody wants to watch this thing. It's just completely getting dumped out on by other people. Like, nobody wants to watch this show. Look, Disney can sit here and complain and say it's review bombing and the shills can say it's review bombing all they want. But the people that they want to tune into the show, the normies, are not tuning in. Call that what it is, but call it whatever you like, really, but they're just not tuning in. You are not getting people to be interested in your show, and that's a problem. Yeah, and it's so much of a problem at this point, really, that, the show, The Acolyte, its second season is definitely in doubt at this point. And, well, I pretty much had an idea that this was going to be a one and done. And, yeah, this was going to be gone. Yeah, The Acolyte showrunner Leslie Headland cast doubt on the second season being made. And in this Entertainment Weekly article, she had been quoted as saying, "Something that I've noticed, his first seasons will end on what should have been a break into Act 2. It feels like everyone's really expecting their shows to get a second season. I don't feel that's a good idea." She added, "I threw everything into season 1 because who knows what's going to happen." So in other words, she's saying that, I made sure to make a self-contained story because I was pretty sure that this was not going to get a second season. Now, she has made mention that she's got 4 or 5 mysteries that she would like to explore if they do get renewed. But, I mean, I don't think that that's going to be a thing. I'm just going to level with you guys. Now, I mean, I'll be honest. I didn't think that Ahsoka was going to get a second season, although I had suspicions that it might because, well, Dave Filoni is, in charge of that, and, well, Ahsoka being Dave Filoni's waifu, he's not going to let his waifu down. Well, let's just be honest. And some of all this stuff with going on with Headland and Kennedy and just all these other things that have been happening, these shows within Disney, all these, especially Star Wars shows that are getting completely just destroyed and are not garnering attention. I mean, really think of all the various Star Wars shows that have come out in recent memory. Really, with the exception of The Mandalorian, Star Wars shows have really not hit with audiences. They've really, by and large, just been kind of really garbage. And then, on top of that, I mean, we've seen a major decline in the quality of the movies that have been coming out. Really, I mean, the only one that I can even remotely think of that has still got any positivity and a goodwill from the fans is Rogue One. And even I still maintain that Rogue One, it's okay. It's fine. It's a serviceable plot, a serviceable movie. But I don't think it needs to exist because it's a story that actually we didn't need. And that's a whole other story for another day, but that's just my opinion. Take that with a grain of salt, and, well, is what it is. Not saying it's bad, I'm just saying I don't think it was needed. That's all it is. Anyway, so going on with all this here, as I was trying to get to before I went off on a tangent, sorry about that. So this has kind of led into a semi-tongue-in-cheek bit here from a Canadian TV executive calling for women to be banned from making Star Wars. You cannot make this crap up. But I mean, yeah, it's hilarious. I got to give it to who created this. I mean, let's just get into it. So here, former Canadian TV executive turned YouTuber Paul Chatto called for women to be banned from producing, writing, and directing Star Wars. In a recent YouTube upload, Chatto said, quote, "I think we can now confidently conclude that not only is the Force not female, but women should be banned from producing, writing, or directing Star Wars entirely. In fact," look, guys, I actually love Paul Chatto's. He's got a lot of great insights into the in how the TV industry works. He's a very smart guy. And I'll be completely honest, I love his comedic wit with what he does. So, yeah, I definitely feel this is very tongue-in-cheek, but not really. But at the same time, let's just let him speak for himself on this one briefly. And that, yes, you can find his YouTube channel at Call Me Chatto, and you can actually go and watch that there. But this is actually a snippet from the video itself.
Hello, denizens of the internet. Internet. Oh, this has started badly. I think we can now confidently conclude that not only is the Force not female, but women should be banned from producing, writing, or directing Star Wars entirely. I know that sounds harsh, and that misogyny word, but the evidence is conclusive. Women should not be making Star Wars. And for good measure, you can include the soy boys like Dave Filoni and all the cucked proto-males living off the fumes of the past.
I would just like to pause for a moment. Not for any particular reason. No reason at all.
Now, I am willing to entertain the argument that this is mostly because of all the gender-delusional, talentless DEI hires and social justice warriors who have taken over Hollywood, who have no clue that the history of cinema extends prior to 2000. It doesn't matter. Of course, there are women out there who could write and produce sci-fi. Just look at the incredible work DC Fontana did for Star Trek. But I'm not seeing any evidence of someone of Fontana's skills being hired either. Just look at the giant turd Michelle Paradise turned Star Trek Discovery into, or Jessica Gao, the She-Hulk debacle. Anyway, for me...
Yeah, and he kind of goes on from there, but yeah, getting into some of what he thinks is wrong and why these types of things have kind of gone south in their quality of production. But let's just say it could be really summed up very quite succinctly with Star Wars needs to get away from, the Panderverse ideas.
Put another gay diverse woman in it. Make it more fucking lame.
Yeah, because that seems to not be working for them. I mean, we have the wonderful lady writers at Lucasfilm to thank for the fact that lightsabers don't work in Star Wars anymore. Yep, we have them to thank for this.
Well then.
Barely an inconvenience. Revenge does wonders. Barely an inconvenience. barely an inconvenience. Barely an inconvenience.
Yeah. Just putting that out there. Oh, so where does this all leave us and where can we go from here? Because, I mean, look, let's be honest. The Acolyte is going to crash and burn. It's going to get really bad. But there is some potential information that is coming down the pipe that just kind of seems to cast some ideas that there might be a faint light at the end of the tunnel. But again, I'll be completely honest with you. I'm not holding my breath for it. So some recent documentation and some information, some rumors have also all hit online and regarding Ahsoka Season 2. Apparently, there is a plot to go into the whole thing with the Mortis gods. If you don't know what the Mortis gods are, well, you've probably never read any of the supplemental EU lore books, and likely you've never actually watched any of the Clone Wars, show from back in the day. I know that I haven't seen or read any of those books because I really only care about the original trilogy. But I'll be honest, I didn't even know this was a thing, but apparently, we're finding out now that, the writers at Disney and Lucasfilm have been just pulling EU lore, just cherry picking things from the old continuity in the EU that they just, things that they want to use in their own stories because they're just completely and totally bankrupt for ideas. And this has led to the idea with them going against the Mortis gods in Ahsoka Season 2, and even bringing in the storyline with Abeloth, or the Mother. Yeah, and that is cast into the idea that potentially they're going to have to bring Luke in on this one because Luke fought Abeloth in the Star Wars Legends, aka the Expanded Universe, at one point or another. So this article from Fandom Wire, quote, they have to bring Luke in to face her, unquote. Disney can set up a nasty Luke Skywalker fight sequence in Ahsoka Season 2 with Abeloth's reported Star Wars debut. And let's just read this brief little bit here. So, after the success of Ahsoka Season 1, it's confirmed second season may introduce one of the more popular characters in Star Wars Legends continuity, Abeloth. The potential live-action entry of Abeloth, or the Mother, may give us a memorable Luke Skywalker moment. Soon after the rumors of her appearance circulated, the fans asserted that Ahsoka Season 2 might give us one of the nastiest live-action fight sequences in the Star Wars universe, as Luke Skywalker already defeated Abeloth in Star Wars Legends. So, getting into who is Abeloth and the rumored antagonist of Ahsoka Season 2. While the Star Wars films and series have long been big hits, the franchise, started by George Lucas, also has the Star Wars Legends universe, formerly known as the Expanded Universe, or EU, focusing on the background stories. Abeloth's storyline is one of the most unique elements in the Legends continuity. Abeloth was introduced as a mere mortal until she joined the Force gods of Mortis, the Mortis gods. She joined the trio as known as the Father, the Son, and the Daughter. Abeloth joined to maintain peace between the Son and the Daughter as the Mother, to transcend her human body. When Abeloth drank from the font of power and bathed in the pool of knowledge, she became corrupted and transformed into a malevolent and horrendous beast. She was eventually captured by the Father in the Maw Cluster until the three gods died in Clone Wars Season 3. Following that, she drove several Jedi insane and lured them into the Maw Cluster. Recently, a trusted insider Daniel Richmond stated that she may appear in Ahsoka Season 2. So, there's what we know about it right now. And with this information, so there have been some rumors floating around about this, and WDW Pro did a great video earlier today about this information. So a lot of this information is coming directly from his video. Highly recommend you go check out WDW Pro. He's got some great stuff on this. So apparently Dave Filoni may be setting up for Ahsoka to face or defeat Abeloth, and possibly Luke will be involved, which is obviously very interesting because of his connection to the original Star Wars canon, the EU, where he defeated her. And there's apparently a relation to this and allegedly the Mandalorian movie. So another big rumor that is being pushed out there right now is that Dave Filoni is getting some pushback against a lot of the things that he has done by the upper echelons of Disney. And they want things to be profitable again. Can't imagine why. So WDW's source has relayed, and this, please take these with a grain of salt, has relayed that Luke may be involved in future Star Wars content, whether KK likes it or not. Yeah, Kathleen Kennedy is losing a lot of face right now. Apparently, the executives are tired of her not turning this franchise profitable. We just have to point to that Forbes article where they literally came out and said that Star Wars has not made back its money, its return on investment, since they bought the franchise. That was pretty scathing right there. So apparently this information also coincides with a tweet by Mark Hamill that he was apparently on set for a project he couldn't talk about, but he was, quote, excited to be back. And the tweet coincided with the date that Lucasfilm began doing table reads for the Mando movie.
Coincidence? I think not!
Just putting that out there. And apparently there's already some talk that Kathleen Kennedy may already be on the way out anyway. Look, I know we have heard so many rumors that KK is fired, she's gone, this, that, whatever, for years now. Well, let me point this little tidbit of information out to y'all. So she did get a mild contract extension in 2023 to go through to the end of 2024. Her contract is set to expire in 2024, and I did make sure I had to double check that before I made this video. Yes, there has not been any talk of extending her contract. There has, in fact, been information saying that she will not be seeking a renewal or extension of her contract at the end of 2024. So there's very much some possibility that she may be on the way out. And with what we've heard of her selling her Malibu beach house and everything as well, as of last year after the failure of Indy 5, seems to lend some credence to that idea. And there's apparently some rumors out there that, again, from WDW Pro's source, that there's rumblings that there are currently plans being made for a post-Kennedy Star Wars where the focus may shift finally back to Luke Skywalker. Not hard to really picture in your mind, considering that, unfortunately for Disney and them, Kathleen Kennedy has just run her own credibility into the ground. I mean, getting mocked mercilessly by the likes of Elon Musk, saying that she is more deadly than the Death Star. Yeah, she's not garnering a lot of respect or any real goodwill from people, and it's starting to show. But please, folks, let me know what you guys are all thinking down there in that comment section down below. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell icon so that way you get notifications whenever I'm going live and I got new stuff. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.